I says, well, aren't you the surf coach? And he says, no, I'm an English teacher. I says, what do you know about surfing? He says, I know nothing. I just raised my hand because no one else did. So he set the clipboard down in the sand and left. And so what did I do? I looked at the clipboard. I picked it up.
Welcome to the Life in Paradise podcast, the show about creating a life you never need a vacation from. You'll gain inspiration from those who have done it before as we share experiences, strategies, and offer practical steps you can take to live your dream life in paradise. With your host, attorney turned alchemist, Dawn Fleming.
Welcome to this month's episode with Taking Command with Captain Tom. Here with Captain Tom Clifford.
Thank you, Dawn. This week we wanted to talk about something about leadership that we always, my wife and I, we talk about quite often. And one of the things that we call it picking up the clipboard. And so we talk about it all the time when we were at the ferry dock a while back, and the ferry was overloaded, and there was bigger ferries at the dock. And I looked at Dawn and I says, "Where's the person with the clipboard?" The leadership is important that to somebody says, I'm in control, I've got this, and everything will go smoothly. So
didn't seem like there was anybody in charge.
No, there was nobody in charge. So how this all started, my picking up the clipboard, it was kind of a funny story. I was living in a block off the beach in Newport Beach, California, with my two teenage sons. And the oldest one says, Dad, we're going to start a high school surf team at the same high school I went to, but they didn't have a surf team back then. So he says, Dad, I want to be part of the surf team, and we're going to meet at 7 o'clock this morning up by 56th Street. So I said, sure, I'll go up there with you. So I went up there with them. I knew all the kids. I'd surfed with them out front. They're all Patrick's friends and everything. And so the faculty member came from the high school, and he looked around at everybody, and he kind of was there for about 10 minutes, and he says, "Hey, I gotta go. I got an English class I have to go to." I says, "Well, aren't you the surf coach?" And he says, "No, I'm an English teacher." I says, "What do you know about surfing?" He says, "No, I know nothing. I just raised my hand because no one else did." So I kind of, oh, okay. So he set the clipboard down in the sand and left. And so what did I do? I looked at the clipboard, I picked it up, and I says, okay, the first heat, we're going to, you and you go out, and we're going to, you're going to surf the first heat for 10 minutes, and we're going to figure out how to place you in the first, second, or third string. And so we did this for maybe a couple of weeks. Everybody respected, they all knew me, they all knew Mr. Tom. They didn't call me Tom Clifford, they called me Mr. Tom. And so they all knew me. But so a couple weeks went by, and then the first contest was coming up. So we all got there in the morning and got all ready to go. And the surf coach from the Huntington Beach, which was the next beach up, their surf team came, and we all congregated. And Huntington Beach coach came up and said, "Are you the coach?" And I said, "No, I'm just one of the kids' dads." And he says, "Well, you're holding the clipboard. You must be the coach." And I kind of went, "Oh, I guess I am."
Well, there wasn't anyone else, was there?
No, there was no one else. No one else. So I was just holding the clipboard. There's nobody else. And so pretty soon the judge showed up, and he owned the local surf shop. His name was Pat Hannafin. And he came over, and he says, "Hey, Tom, how are you?" And the other coach said, "The judge, you know this guy?" He says, "Yeah, we're on the collegiate surf team at Long Beach State together." And so the Huntington Beach coach looked at me and says, "Oh no, I got a ringer." But no, it was just innocent. But anyway, what happened? It worked out really great. We did the whole season, and everything. But I got that that saying when somebody sets down the clipboard, somebody's going to have to take and pick it up and roll with it, whether it's me or somebody else.
I'd like you to talk a little bit more about how that worked out. I mean, how'd you guys do?
Oh, we did fine. It worked out really well, and I had known all and surfed with all the guys in the team, so I knew how to place them in the different heats and everything, and it worked out just fine. It was very rewarding. And what was nice was that I had an engineering business up the hill where I had the flexibility of I could take and call the head machinist and say, go ahead and open up the shop. I'll be in about an hour late, and so I was able to spend time with my two sons and in their surfing competitions and stuff. So it was kind of, I was blessed to be able to do that at the time. So, yeah. So
what was the response from the school or
there was no response from the school. I actually
didn't get any support from them at all?
No, but I had to fill out paperwork down there. My son brought me some paperwork from the school. Said these surfers show up for the thing? Because that was their first period PE. And yeah, the attendance was good. So I started taking attendance and everything, but it just kind of flowed organically. And it was a lot of fun. But that was my oldest son's senior year in high school. So after that, I didn't do it. Didn't do it. No.
But it was a labor of love, no pay involved, right? Just a sport that you love and your sons love, and you had the opportunity to. And
I knew because I was and when I was younger, I was a competitive surfer. I surfed in the Western Surf Association meets, and then when I was in college, I surfed for Long Beach State College. So it was. I knew how the contests work and how the heats work and how the judging works. So it worked out. But since they did know about it, it wasn't as death-defying as some of the other things. Like another situation, Dawn's younger brother, John, who lives in Nebraska, he's a science teacher. And what happened was the girls' diving team, they didn't have a coach. Somebody sat down the clipboard. So John went over, picked up the clipboard, and he says, I know nothing about competitive diving. And so he called me up and says, hey, I am the coach for the women's diving team. And because I was also a springboard diver in high school. And so he said, well, figure it out. And he figured it out. But it's just, it happens sometimes. Even and he was already a football coach. He did basketball coaching. Mm-hmm. He was a good coach, but he knew nothing about diving. But he says, well, I'll figure it out. I'll do the research and we'll get it and ask for help from other people to figure it out. And sometimes that's what the thing is. Sometimes you have to be courageous enough to pick up the clipboard and then say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll find the help to get me to where I need to be. So yeah, that was and
what he got some books on how to coach diving. And then you had some great suggestions about the similarity between diving and gymnastics.
That's right. And recruit the girls from the gymnastics team because they're also they know how when they're up in the air, they knew where they were in the air, body control and stuff. Yeah. So that was one thing where I was very proud of my brother-in-law who just took and stepped up.
Yeah, and without having everything figured out and necessarily having all the expertise you need, having that foundational basis of knowledge about what it takes for coaching, which there's a lot to it, right? So there's the people side of it, the encouragement side of it, and to John's credit, his big thing is fitness. The CrossFit background that he has is all of the coaching, really any sport that you're involved in, right? Whether it's diving or surfing or football or basketball, all those things, your fitness level and your discipline when it comes to your conditioning is going to be a huge part across the board. Yeah. So there is an example of a skill that is needed or discipline that's needed regardless of what it is that you're teaching. But yeah, I was very proud of him to like you say, pick up the clipboard and say, sure, I don't know a thing about diving, but I'm a good coach and I'm gonna figure it out and have some fun and hopefully make a difference in these kids' lives when there's a huge void there that was being filled.
We'll be back in a moment.
Isla Mujeres is a Caribbean jewel off the coast of Cancun. Castilito del Caribe warmly invites you to enjoy our spectacular oceanfront villa located in the heart of El Centro and a short walk to Playa Norte, which is ranked one of the top 10 beaches in the world. With an ocean view of crystal clear turquoise waters overlooking both the Caribbean and Cancun city skyline, we offer a fabulous location for you to enjoy all the peace and tranquility you're looking for on vacation, while also taking in all the excitement the island has to offer, with activities either in walking distance or a golf cart day excursion away. Please visit CastilitoCaribe.com, www.CastilitoCaribe.com. We look forward to seeing you soon.
I'm so happy to have you with me for the Life in Paradise podcast. I love our listeners and fans, and we'd love to show our appreciation for you supporting the show. So please head over to lifeinparadisepodcast.com, where you can find free resources mentioned in this show, and also register for our gifts, prizes, and swag. I'd also love to hear from you, so there's a place on that page to submit your questions, comments, and requests, so I can serve you better. And if I answer your question on the show, we'll send you a free gift. Getting back to this, picking up the clipboard, obviously, we've been talking about it in a sports or coaching context, but it certainly comes into play in other situations. If you heard the interview I did with Renee Marino, who got the part of Mary Delgado in Jersey Boys, had she not spoken up, she could have missed the opportunity of a lifetime. And if you go back and listen to that interview, if you haven't heard it, because it's a great story that she shares with us. And to a similar point, maybe the clipboard's not sitting in the sand like you're talking about, but maybe there's an opportunity there to make a huge difference in your life, like Renee, or in someone else's life, or in a business or career context. And that's what we want to share with you next, is the story of Tom's son, Patrick, and his sort of picking up the clipboard, although it wasn't really dropped, but there was certainly a need that he observed and spoke up. Sometimes it involves speaking up.
Yeah. So what happened was my oldest son was a radiology technician, a very good one, and he got disenchanted with the medical industry, and he was in Tucson, Arizona. He came back out to Newport Beach, California, where he grew up. This is later on. And so when he was out there, I call it flopping around for a little bit. He had a manufacturing job and this and that. But he didn't want to go back in the medical field at the time.
Well, he couldn't.
He couldn't have a California board.
The credential.
So anyway, my youngest son worked at a very large French bakery in Newport Beach. It supplied all the baked goods for all of Orange County, the high-end restaurants and everything. And so my oldest son, Patrick, he got a job as a bread truck driver, okay? I was kind of way beneath his pay grade, but I said, oh, gosh, Patrick, you can do better than that. So he was a bread truck driver for a while, and then finally he had the courage to go in to the owner of the French bakery and says, your system's all screwed up. You're not getting the right amount of bread out for certain times of the year. He knew the area because he grew up in it. He knew the times when the restaurants are going to be busy and when they're going to be slow and stuff. And so he told the owner, he says, at this time of year, you're wasting bread, and the other time of year, you're short of bread and everything. And you know what the owner said to him? He says, well, step up, figure it out.
He said, can you help me?
Can you help me? Yeah. He says, put your money where your mouth is. And so they gave him an office and a computer, and he he controls a big French bakery, and he's very busy, and he does a great job. And he makes sure that the right amount of dough is ordered, the right amount of bread is baked at certain times of year and everything. And he's got a lot of responsibility. He's kind of a key player in the company because he made the effort to step up and say, hey, I can do this better. And so, yeah, sometimes you got to step up and say, I'll be in charge. It's just like the person with the clipboard. I'll be in charge. I can figure this out. So, yeah, it was a great story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Life in Paradise podcast. Did you love this episode? If so, we'd love for you to follow, rate, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We invite you to tune in every week for more inspired insights and wisdom to create your Somebody Pinch Me reality. And until next time, dream big and act on it daily.